Hello, my name is Muhanad, most call me Mo, and this is my CIS 401 final. It's an application that I developed called ChatSense. Well, I'm happy to have you here with me so I can give you an overview of the key backend files of the ChatSense app. The backend is essentially the behind the scenes, the infrastructure that powers the application, handling things like storing and retrieving chat messages, managing user accounts, and processing requests from the front end. This was a Python project, so well, not most, as you can see, all of all of the files here are Python files. I've really tried to, well, over the course of this whole project, I've really tried to understand um, how to integrate Python into most, if not all, my. This is the first time I'm working with Python and integrating into an HTML JS file. Just keep that in mind. The file labeled chat.py is the main entry point for ChatSense application's backend. It contains the core functionality for handling chat-related operations such as sending, receiving, and just general operations within the messages. The code snippet, it shows the implementation of send underscore message function, which creates a new message and appends it to a list of messages. There's also a get underscore message function. It retrieves it retrieves the list of messages, potentially filtered by users or other criteria, which I haven't yet touched upon, but I'm thinking more about the app being a lot more user friendly, which is kind of a growth area within the application. And then to the right, or the other file labeled message.py, this file defines the data model for the chat message, including its properties like sender and the recipient and content, as well as the timestamp, which is something that I added alongside the application just to make it a little more modern. It's just something I think it's very second nature to chat applications nowadays to have a timestamp just to kind of keep track of where your messages are during the day. The code snippet shows you the definition of a message class, if you could see that, which has methods for initializing a new message and converting it into a JSON serialized format. The file labeled database.py is responsible for interacting with the application's database, which is an SQL database. There is a function called create underscore engine, which is used to set up the database connection. And then there's another function called declarative underscore base, which is used to define the data models. This file contains functions for performing something called CRUD, which is create, read, update, and delete, which is very vital for a chatting software like the one like ChatSense. Um, it's the main. So we have app.py, which is right next to database.py. This file is the main application entry point where the Flask web application is set up and configured. The code snippet shown to you shows the initialization of a Flask app object and the registration of a chat underscore BP, which is blueprint, um, and the use of Flask name variable to determine the main entry point. The file is responsible for handling HTTP requests, routing them to the appropriate handlers, and managing the overall application lifestyle. After some CSS work, this is how I envisioned my file to look like. Unfortunately, due to errors in my integration, I wasn't able to run the file. But this is essentially what I wanted it to look like. Well, not what I wanted to. This is what I had at some point before the error popped up. I was trying to make some changes over the back end, but thank you so much for watching the video.